call to order this meeting of the Warren County School Board for Wednesday, December the 5th, 2018. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The first item on the agenda is to accept or modify the agenda. Is there a motion?
Madam Chairman, I move we accept the agenda as presented.
Second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Community participation. Is there anyone who would like to address the board? Please come forward. Community participation is a time intended for the public to give input on relevant school issues and not intended to be a question and answer. No? Okay. We'll see you again in a little bit. Okay? Okay. Presentations. Warren County Educational Endowment Grant Awards. Mr. Drescher and Mr. Stanley.
Madam Chairman, members of the board and staff, good evening. My name is Doug Stanley. I'm the president of Warren County Educational Endowment, and I'm joined this evening by several of our members from our board of directors. I'd like to take a moment to introduce them. Mark Jordan, Sue Ann Fox, and our ex officio, Mr. Greg Drescher. It's the endowment's aim to provide community support for the enormous energy put forth by your teachers, students, staff, and parents to ensure that graduates of the Warren County Public School System have an enhanced ability to lead successful lives. Our mission is to serve as a catalyst for the continuing improvement of the learning environment in our schools by funding projects that are sponsored by the school system and consistent with its mission and direction, initiate sustained improvement in the fundamental capability of the school system, and enhance the attractiveness of the community through the promotion of educational excellence. Since 1994, it's been our goal to grow the corpus or principal of the endowment to $1 million, which would generate an estimated $50,000 per year in grants to support public education in Warren County. The corpus of the endowment is invested and the income is used to directly assist in promoting creative efforts to foster educational excellence for the children of Warren County. I am pleased to announce that as of August of this year, the endowment stands at approximately $1,005,000. That is pretty amazing when you consider that since 1996, we've also given out 135 grants totaling almost $455,000. So yesterday we celebrated reaching this once distant milestone. Today we roll up our sleeves and start to work on the next goal that our board has set, $2.5 million for 2025. To reach the next ambitious milestone, we've outlined a number of potential opportunities, including continuing our annual fund drive and golf tournament fundraisers, asking individual donors to consider making a bequest to their will for the endowment. I'm also pleased to say that in the last 30 days, we received a $200,000 request from someone who left it to us in their will. To ask individual donors to consider donating their 401k early withdrawal directly to the endowment, consider donations of stock to avoid taking capital gains tax hit while taking the full donation, and encouraging representatives of local business and industry to support the endowment. The endowment believes that sometimes it takes the private support of public efforts to incubate an idea or approach that helps students compete in the global marketplace, instills a passion for lifelong learning, and sparks a vision to stretch for success. In November of this year, the endowment has awarded 11 grants totaling $46,450. Grants were awarded for the following projects: equitable access to books and increased comprehension through the use of audiobooks. Rebecca Webster, Warren County Middle School, $600. The grant will be used to purchase audiobooks for books most frequently checked out from the library and classroom libraries. Offering audiobooks will allow students reading below grade level to read and engage in discussions with their peers while increasing their vocabulary and comprehension as they follow along in the print version of the book. Flexible seating for special needs classroom, Rebecca Pennington, Warren County Middle School, $600. Research shows that movement during instruction improves focus, increases oxygen to the brain, enhances engagement, and helps dispel excess energy. The grant will provide flexible seating such as wobble stools, standing desks, and yoga balls to allow students to move around during the lesson without distracting other students. Friday Coffee Cart, Tess Wharton, Warren County Middle School, $650. The project will provide funding for a coffee cart that will be operated by Tier 3 extensive needs students. Students will prepare and sell coffee and baked goods to staff members. They'll be fully involved in all stages from preparation to completing the sale. The cart will be utilized to teach real-life application of county money, customer service, shopping, and money management. Read and Write for Google Chrome, Mira Lanterman and Jackie Dobson, Warren County Middle School, $1,800. This project will provide read aloud and word prediction accommodations through benchmarks and other tests that currently do not have this feature through PowerSchool assessment. Students will use Read and Write to access benchmarks and other tests to prepare them for the read aloud format for the SOL test. Educational opportunities for our future medical community. Michelle Barber, Skyline High School, $15,000. The funding will provide a 50% match to allow Warren County Public Schools to purchase necessary equipment and partner with LFCC to offer dual-enrolled anatomy and physiology classes. Classes include labs, case studies, projects, as well as normal class activities, such as lectures, assessments, and class discussions. The goal is to help address the current nursing and medical staff shortage by offering college-level classes through dual enrollment, which will allow them to transfer the credits to LFCC or any four-year university in Virginia. Spreading Roots, a non-traditional approach to school gardening. Tom Hodge, Diversified Minds, Brighter Futures, non-traditional programs, $2,500. Project will fund the purchase of equipment and supplies to create and manage an organic vegetable garden at the Health and Human Services Complex. Students, teachers, families, and community members will collaborate to plan, create, and manage a vegetable garden where everyone can utilize the outdoor space as an experimental learning tool across all content areas. The activities will spark students' curiosity and imagination about gardening, natural resources, nutrition, and human impact on the environment. Big, one of my favorites, Boys into Gentlemen. Rodney Stone, Shane Goodwin, E. Wilson Morrison Elementary, $2,500. The project will intensively serve between 8 to 10 at-risk 4th and 5th graders by providing them with opportunities for leadership, mentoring, and community involvement. In addition to weekly meetings, the boys will be taken to a monthly walking field experience during the school day to a local restaurant where they can employ their skills of etiquette while listening to an invited local business owner or community leader. The goal of the program is to provide the boys with a roadmap for a successful future in our community. The future is now, bringing imagination into reality. Jill Atherton Mellish, Skyline Middle, $5,000. The project will provide students with the opportunity to learn creatively in an engaging learning space filled with the most recent technology by funding the purchase of equipment for a Tinker Lab. Students in the gifted and talented classes will be able to produce more advanced projects that will prepare them for STEM jobs when they graduate. Improving STEM learning for Skyline students. Paula Levesky, Skyline High School, $2,800. Project will allow the offering of additional classes that count towards college credit. The grant will fund books, lab manuals, lab equipment necessary to complete labs for Bio 101 and 102. Warren County Middle School STEAM Tinker Lab. Jen Davis, Lou Keeter, Amy Lolito, Warren County Middle School, $5,000. This project will provide STEAM resources and kits that encourage exploratory learning for all Warren County Middle School students. The kits will include activities focused on electricity and circuits, magnetism, electromagnets, design and construction, robotics, focusing on topics that are traditionally difficult for many students. The Tinker Lab will be available to all teachers and students and would encourage opportunities for cross-curricular projects. And lastly, mental health first aid. Michael Hirsch, division-wide, $10,000. The grant will provide funding for an 8-hour evidence-based training to teach a 5-step action plan for crisis and non-crisis situations. The grant resources will be used to support teachers and other staff on a Saturday while trainers from VCU provide the day-long experiences. Staff will be able to assess risk of suicide or harm, listen in a non-judgmental capacity, give reassurance and information, encourage appropriate professional help, and encourage self-help and other strategies. Activities will include hands-on training, role-playing, and simulations. So the Warren County Educational Endowment feels a compelling commitment to our mission of helping the local system support high-level and creative programs for our children. The system has had to make some difficult decisions in dealing with budget issues and need our support more than ever. With these 11 grants awards, we feel that we've been able to give a spark to creative thinking to your staff and continue to encourage the spread of the use of technology as a tool for advanced learning. So on behalf of the endowment, I'd like to ask Greg and Kathy to come down and we can present a check representing our grant award for this year. Mr. Fox, you got a good friend. Looks like Mr. Drescher's going to be here. And one other thing I did want to mention real quick. I want to mention a list of some of your employees. There's a number of your employees that every month have a deduction in their payroll, and I just want to take a quick second and thank them. Bonnie Lewis, Wendy Young, Tom Bowen, Lori Cockrell, Greg Drescher, Richard Follett, Alan Fox, Amanda Hattenback, Nina Helmick, Lori Lehman, Bonnie Lewis, Janet Myers, Kim Oakland, Melissa Ritter, Lisa Rudersill, Carla Scott, Melody Shepard, Jenny Stanley, Randa Vernaza, Denise Walton, Jim Wells, and Wendy Young. Thanks to each of them for believing in their own school system and helping us to invest in it, in our kids. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that great presentation. I heard about 5 or 6 of those grants that certainly would have helped me when I was in school, especially the auditory books. I'm an auditory learner, so that would have really, audio books would have been great for me. Before we go on with the consent agenda, I think Mr. Drescher has something he wants to add to the personnel
If I could just
report.
say one thing about the Warren County Education Endowment, I just would, personally like to thank all that they have done to help Warren County Public Schools. Many times we do not have the funds to try something new or, kind of cutting edge or creative. And what the endowment has done for many years now, it's allowed us to do that. And we have been able to implement so many things because of that, with that little spark, as you mentioned, Mr. Stanley. And it's made a huge difference to our kids. So it's great. Appreciate that. So it is moving on to the consent agenda. Normally we just do the consent agenda, but we had left somebody off here. So it's kind of with heartfelt thanks and with some sadness that we need to add Mr. Mike Riley, to the personnel report. He has rendered his resignation. He is retiring at the end of February. A little bit jealous, but he has done a wonderful job here at Warren County Public Schools and helped us maintain our facilities, with limited funding, I'll say. And so he's done a great job, and appreciate all he's done. You'll get to hear more about what we appreciate about you, Mike, but I just wanted to make sure you're on the personnel report.
Thank you. So is there a motion for the consent agenda?
Madam Chairman, I'm not real happy about it, but I move that we accept the consent agenda as amended.
Second.
All those in favor, aye? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Reports. Virginia Preschool Initiative. Mr. Hirsch.
Good evening, Madam Chairman, Mr. Superintendent. It's with great pleasure I get to introduce Jenny Donovan. She holds many roles. One of them is Virginia Preschool Initiative. She is also our Family Engagement Coordinator and in charge of Child Find and the Bright Beginnings program. But tonight, she's here to talk about the 4-year-old program, Virginia Preschool Initiative. So with no further ado, Jenny.
Good evening. So as you said, I'm here to talk about the Virginia Preschool Initiative, or the VPI program. I also brought some family members with me this evening, so once I go over this, I will introduce them, and they're going to talk a little bit about what the program means to them as well. So the Virginia Preschool Initiative, or the VPI program, is a state-funded program that provides high-quality preschool for at-risk 4-year-olds. Each VPI program serves no more than 18 students in a classroom, and we have one teacher and one highly qualified paraprofessional, providing a 9-to-1 ratio. The program follows the school calendar, and it emphasizes collaboration among home, school, community to provide a quality program which fosters the development of the whole child. A safe, nurturing environment is provided at each location, which promotes active exploration, curiosity, and excitement for learning. The curriculum that we use in the program is a big day in pre-K, and it revolves around a language-rich environment and follows the Virginia's Foundation Blocks for Learning, which are standards provided by the state for Virginia literacy, mathematics, science, and history and social science. We administer the pre-K PALS and Ames Web testing to the children in the fall and the spring. And then we utilize that testing to determine the direction of instruction and program. We also use that to check the student growth and make adjustments throughout the school year for that as well. The PALS instrument, as well as the Ames Web, is then continued throughout the elementary school. We utilize the PALS testing in K through 2, and then Ames Web, I believe, goes on through middle school, Ames Web goes on through middle school. Currently in Warren County, we have 7 inclusive preschool programs with a teacher and an assistant in each classroom, serving both early childhood special education students as well as the VPI students. We currently have 2 programs at Rusty Jeffries Elementary School, 2 programs at E. Wilson, 2 programs at LFK, and 1 program at Hilda J. Barber. We have been fortunate that the program has been growing quite steadily over the past 2 years, and in the 2017 school year, we were able to add an additional classroom at Rusty Jeffries, and then this past school year, we were able to add an additional classroom at LFK that is a VPI classroom, early childhood special education classroom combined. We have seen a steady increase in enrollment over the past several years. In 2015, the VPI program served 39 students. In 2016, we served 53 students. In 2017, I'm proud to say that we were able to fill the capacity for the first time. We were able to fill to 81 students and had a wait list of 11 students, which then prompted the state to increase our allowable numbers. And this year, we are serving 92 students, which is amazing. So we have 92 students, and we currently have a wait list of 25. So I'm hopeful that maybe we'll get some more slots next year. But I am very excited to be a part of such a growing initiative. It is definitely an exciting time to be a part of early childhood here in Warren County. It is our focus and has been our focus to serve children with and without disabilities in the preschool setting in an inclusive and provide them with inclusive opportunities. This year we were able to merge the VPI program with special services, and we have seen some great things happen being able to do that. So I'm very excited to have this role and be able to see the growth. And I think you'll hear that when I introduce our families. They have seen great impact as well with their children. So thank you. And I would like to introduce Allison Marcus, Whitney Coffey, and Tony Mills. And of course, I can't forget Miss Natalie. Sure.
However you'd like to do it.
You want to come up?
Hi, my name is Whitney Coffey. I currently have a 4-year-old daughter that Natalie is in the program. I also have a 13-year-old son who was also in the program several years ago now. The program is fabulous. My 13-year-old son has mild cerebral palsy from a stroke, and it was invaluable to him. It challenged him, like he already has some challenges, but it really helped him socially to interact with other kids, some with disabilities and some without. So he didn't feel, I don't know, I guess kind of like segregated. And Natalie actually last year was in Head Start, and she was very shy, very quiet, kept to herself, didn't want, just very timid. This year she has thrived in the new setting, being over at Ressie in the classroom. She's doing so good. She's happy and she plays with everybody. It's just a really great program. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, thank you.
Hello, my name is Allison Marcus, and I have a 4-year-old son that attends Ressie as well. He is in Miss Dendez's class, and we love her. She's real sweet. He wants to go to school. He's excited for school. And one reason I'm really thankful for this program is because my son has been diagnosed with ADHD and like high-functioning autism we're experiencing with. And all of the referrals that his pediatrician has referred him to, they won't take him until like age 6 for evaluation. And since starting this program, we just had a meeting yesterday, and he is about to go for like testing and an evaluation through the school. So that's helping him 2 years earlier than what he would have been helped by attending this program. So, sorry, I'm emotional.
That's fine.
So yeah, thumbs up for them. I only have good things to say.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Forgive my earlier enthusiasm.
You're fine, you're fine. It's a little confusing.
My name is Anthony Mills, and I will start, and you'll know this, I'm not a public speaker. Rather, I'm a 6'2", 240-pound career firefighter paramedic, and I love the fact that I've been able to serve my entire adult life. I've taken pride in always being able to shoulder my load and a little bit of somebody else's. Let me also say this. There's a good chance I break up a little bit here. And I never do it at work, but I've got 4-year-old twins, and they are at risk. And Jenny will know this. If I talk about it, it is emotional, so forgive me. To get to the end of what I want to say, I'll take you through the beginning a little bit, some of the recent things that have happened that have put my sons at risk, and how you guys have helped. And given the holiday season, I find no better time now than to express my gratitude to everybody who's been a part. So for that, I thank you all. But my children, my twin boys, Stephen and Jackson, are 4 years old now. Early in the year was the first report from one of them of abuse by a boyfriend of their mother. It was physical, and then there was emotional, threatened to be locked in a cage. And then several months later from my other son was the report of sexual abuse. I know my children are at risk. I fight every day to keep them in a safe, good environment. I had gone 50 years never having to ask for help, but I had to ask for help. And I had called your special services, and I spoke with Jenny, and I will tell you, you have a phenomenal advocate for your school board and that program. I'm sorry. There was help available, and this call that I made was only weeks prior to the school year starting. I know it was late notice. I know I was behind all the calendar timelines and everything else, but she helped. Not only did she help, she said, Tony, I've got room for one son. And so I chose which of the two I thought this would have the greatest impact for. My other son, I knew I had to get into a private help. But at the time, it was almost impossible for me, given financial circumstances, and I borrowed close to $200,000 from family to fight a legal fight to put my boys into a safe environment. Most amazingly for me is not only did she help with the son that could be put in the program, but she was making calls to other people to try to find a private spot for my son, and even help work out things financially so that I could manage it, so that both of my sons had a safe environment to be in, to learn or grow and thrive. The week before school started, I went to the orientation. I walked into the classroom, I was blown away. When I was that age, I didn't have a classroom like that. It was a discovery wonderland. I walked 3 steps in the door and wow, I want both of my kids to be there. I want my kids to go through, and this is my first experience with Warren County Schools. I moved here from Fairfax 5 years ago. I want both my kids to be here. It was a beautiful environment, and I'm sure you've been through all the classrooms, and it's to you, it may not have the same impact, but as a single father of 2 boys that I know are in need, it's incredible. So I know the impact that this program has, not just for me, but for my sons and for the peace of mind. But it's spectacular, guys. I don't know what else to say, but thank you. I want to thank everybody who's been a part of that program and providing an environment like that. I don't know what else to say. Thank you.
Thank you. I know it was difficult to get up and share that, and I think it touched us all. As a parent, we all know that we have to be our child's strongest advocate and keep fighting for them and keep being there for them. That's all I can say.
Thank you, folks.
I will say Warren County has come a long way. I have a 63-year-old sister who has cerebral palsy, and we were born and raised in Warren County, and when she was ready to start school, the system did not want her in the school system because she did have cerebral palsy. My mother and father fought and fought and fought, and she went through the school system, got a college degree, and excelled. But, you know, just keep being your child's best advocate.
I appreciate what you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I think public speaking is just fine.
Oh, yes. I don't like to speak in public either. Superintendent report.
I mean, after every one of the reports that go before me, I always feel like I'm like fifth fiddle.
Yeah.
So, but thank you for that, Jenny, and bringing
Yes,
family
thank you.
members here, and it's nice to hear the good work that's being done, and really appreciate it. All right, just a couple of things. First semester is winding down. Our high school students are taking SOL tests, and all of our school students are taking those end of 9 weeks or semester assessments that allow us to know what they've learned and what further work needs to be done for this year. So that's kind of that mid-year check. All of our schools have holiday events as well as a number of showcases of our students' learning and talents. And I just would encourage all of us to attend these. The next couple of weeks are very full. I think you could do something every evening if you wanted to. But it gives a wonderful example of the many good things that are happening in Warren County Public Schools every day.
I know I have a few things on my calendar, but could you send us a
Absolutely.
list of
Absolutely.
everything that's coming up?
Absolutely. So
Thank
we'll do
you.
it. But that is my report.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Williams?
Well, he's fifth fiddle, so I guess I'm sixth. Now, Ms. Jenny, I know how that program began and how it's evolved, and to have 25 students on a waiting list, girl, you have done phenomenal getting that place going. So I'm sure the group collectively as a school system will do everything they can to help further that. That's just awesome. And to have the parents come in tonight, it's tough. I don't like to stand up here or sit up here and talk. You can imagine walking up to that podium. And whoever's little daughter that was, she rolled in here like she owned the place. So, I mean, because we commented. So that's good. I mean, I love seeing that. The little ones are our future. So, you know, she'll be running the show when I'm in a wheelchair somewhere. And that's what we want. So thank you, guys. The endowment just keeps growing. That's great because, as Mr. Drescher said earlier, a lot of the programs we try is because of the endowment, and the teachers and staff that give money out of their paycheck. That's very impressive. I greatly appreciate that. That's very nice. And Mr. Riley, you can't leave. I wasn't told up front, so no. We need to talk. But congratulations on your soon-to-come retirement. In all seriousness, you deserve it, very much so. That's all I have, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Rosen?
That's a pretty hard act to follow. I'm very impressed with the Virginia Preschool Initiative. Ultimately, in any organization, you got to have the money to be able to take your best and shiniest employees, and everybody, and make some real changes and do some things. So the endowment fund, I remember it back when it was about $400 or $500, and work was underway. And now to have a goal of, did Stanley say 225 million?
No, 2.5 million.
2.5, okay. I thought maybe he was,
You need to leave them in your will.
yeah, right. That gives you the baseline. You got the dollars to help get the programs in, then you have qualified people to analyze those programs. It's pretty exciting. And for a small town, we got pretty cool school system.
Good support.
Good support.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Wells?
Well, first, Mr. Riley, congratulations. Been with you a good while, and I've seen every step of the way you've been professional in a class act, and we appreciate everything you've done. You don't really like to see folks leave, but there's a time and a place, and we appreciate everything. To the endowment, to the point, I think Mr. Williams made it, and Mr. Rosen too, is we don't have the money to do some of these experimental things or some of the things that are a little bit outside the ordinary parameters. The one thing, though, that the endowment has been able to do is a lot of those programs we've picked up and continued. They have proven that they are worthwhile and that they're very useful, and so we appreciate everybody who's contributed, whether it's a little or a lot. It all matters, and it's all for the kids. And it was really nice to see that it runs the gamut from being able to help our staff to the middle school, the high school, the elementary students, and I still don't like saying it, but the VPI program.
It's not that VP.
Yeah, it's not the same one, so I guess that's okay. But you know, here in the Christmas season, that there really are angels on earth. Jenny, is she the person that you continually tell us is throwing the net out there and keeps bringing the numbers in?
Yep, absolutely.
So thank you for what you do, and we appreciate it. And as you heard from some of the folks that spoke this evening, you can't ask for a better validation than what they give you. So
Mrs. McKeithen?
Well, and first with Mr. Riley, when Mr. Drescher mentioned your retirement, I said, I don't think he's old enough. And, so you've worn it well. But thank you for all you've done, and I still don't think you're old enough, but, and Jenny, thank you for everything. Thank you for bringing, the parents here. It was really touching, and we appreciate that. And just want to echo everything else everybody said about the endowment,
Okay. Well, I'll follow up last. Thank you, Jenny, for coming tonight and bringing everyone to speak. You know, like Mrs. McKeithron said, it was very touching, and we all know as parents, we have to really stand up for our kids, and thank you for helping our children. Mr. Riley, retirement's not a bad thing.
You can still call.
Do what?
If the generator starts up, you can still call me.
Oh, okay. The story behind that is, I live next to Skyline Middle School, and sometimes the generators, it goes through a test phase on Saturdays, but sometimes that test phase doesn't cut off, and 5 hours later, it is still going, and you can hear it. So I'll give him a call. It's like, hey, congratulations. And I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a healthy and happy New Year. It's right around the corner, and hopefully we will have a mild winter, and we won't miss much school. So. Action agenda. Set date and time for 2019 organizational meeting. Mr. Drescher.
Warren County School Board Policy File BCA, School Board Organizational Meeting, requires that an organizational meeting be held in January of each year. One of the actions to be taken at that meeting is to establish the regular meeting schedule for that year. Following current practice, it is recommended that this meeting be scheduled for Wednesday, January 2nd, 2019 at 7 p.m. And that would be my recommendation.
Do we
need a
motion?
Madam Chair. Sorry.
I move that the 2019 organizational meeting be held on Wednesday, January 2nd, 2019 at 7 p.m. in the board meeting room of the Warren County Government Center.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, aye? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Call for nominations for induction into the Roy K. Boyles Wall of Recognition. Mr. Drescher.
The Roy K. Boyles Wall of Recognition was created in 2017 by the Warren County School Board. The inaugural inductee of the Roy K. Boyles Wall of Recognition was Roy K. Boyles. As a long-standing supporter and contributor to the education system in Warren County, Roy exemplified the criteria needed to be considered as a member of the Wall of Recognition. Nominees must have direct connection to the Warren County Public Schools. Examples of nominees are any Warren County Public School employee, school board member, other local or regional board members, a specific group that has had a dramatic influence or impact on Warren County Public Schools. If the nominee is an individual, they must have been out of their field of service for at least 5 years, and nominees need to have had a positive and lasting impact on the Warren County Public School system. So the process is, in January of each year, the Warren County School Board will accept nominees from any interested party. The school board, along with the superintendent, will review the nominees for selection. Selected nominees or their appropriate family members will be notified of their selection, and they will be recognized at the school board meeting in March or April. A plaque will be hung in the school board office commemorating their selection. So, and there's a copy of the criteria and the nomination form to be attached, and we'll make sure that people are aware that this is happening.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Grant, can you put that on the website?
Absolutely.
This piece right here plus the form?
Okay, thank you. Request approval for 2019-2020 school calendar. Mrs. Shepherd.
Good evening.
Evening.
Policy IC-ID requires the school board to establish the division's calendar in accordance with applicable regulations and to include contingencies for making up teacher days and teaching hours missed for emergency situation. The calendar being presented to you tonight for your consideration for the 2019-2020 school year includes school starting August the 12th, 2019. Fall break will be November 27th through the 29th. Winter break will be December 23rd through January 3rd for the students and December 23rd through January 1st for staff. Spring break will be March 23rd through the 27th. There will be a holiday on April the 10th and 13th, and the last day of school will be June the 5th. There are 7 built-in weather makeup days. Students will not be in school for more than 180 days. If we do not miss 7 days due to weather, the days will be taken from the end of the school year. There are 13 professional development days, with 1 professional development day, February the 17th, to be used as a weather makeup day as needed. The first reading and discussion of the 2019-20 proposed calendar was November the 7th. The second reading and discussion was November the 20th. This is the third reading and recommendation for approval. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Does anyone have anything they'd like to add or question?
The only question I have is just that the calendar's a calendar, and not like in the past, the way I've read it and understood it, and you've explained, I'm pretty sure. If spring break, winter break, we won't take any days from that because of snow or anything like that. So
Right.
it's set in stone, and we'll go from there, right?
That's correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure
That is
what I-
correct.
Well, that's good,
What
because
I
in the
heard-
past, things have
Yeah.
been tweaked.
So if people make plans and to go on vacation, they can still go and not worry about
Right.
saying, oh, no, it snowed, sorry.
Spring break this year for 2018-19
Right.
has 3 weather days built in.
Right.
So if we may or may not be able, we've already missed 2 days due to weather, so
Right.
absolutely.
I
But
thought-
for the 2019-2020 calendar, those days are guaranteed.
So, Awesome, thank you.
That's good. Okay, is there any other questions for Mrs. Shepherd? No? Would you like to offer a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, I move the proposed 2019-2020 school calendar be approved as presented. The first day of school will be Monday, August 12th, 2019, and the last day of school will be Friday, June 5th, 2020.
Is there a second? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, and stay where you are.
Thank you.
Approval of contract for architectural and engineering services for renovation of A.S. Rhodes Elementary School.
Thank you. OWPR Incorporated was one of the 5 architectural firms to submit a proposal in response to the request for proposal for architectural and engineering services for the renovation of A.S. Rhodes Elementary School. On Tuesday, November the 20th, the school board interviewed 3 of the 5 firms. After discussion and negotiation, the recommendation is to award the contract to OWPR Incorporated for the renovation of A.S. Rhodes Elementary School. The scope of the renovation includes new roof, new windows, new exterior doors and hardware, exterior wood trim repair and paint, new HVAC system, new restrooms, ADA upgrades, new interior paint and floor finishes, security improvements for the entrance, new acoustical ceiling tile, and new lighting and electrical upgrades as required. The scope of the renovation will be determined by the amount of money that is available. I understand you may not have had the opportunity to completely read the contract since it was added to the agenda this morning. The reason for the rush is to be able to give the architect as much time as possible to address the roof at A.S. Rhodes and get this out to bid so the roof can be replaced this upcoming summer, the summer of 2019. The school board attorney has reviewed and recommended non-material changes which were included in the RFP, or as part of the contract, or OWPR's proposal, which is also part of the contract. An example of one of the recommended changes is the amount of insurance the architect must maintain, which is on page 16 of the RFP. If you would like additional time to review the contract, we can schedule another school board meeting this month, but if you feel like you've had adequate time, I would recommend approval of the contract.
We were informed of this early this morning, and I had a chance to look over things. Would anyone else like additional time, though?
I've read the whole thing, and I feel confident with what was discussed in the past in the presentation. That I'm comfortable.
You're okay for tonight?
Yes, I'm okay for tonight.
How does everyone else feel? You're okay? Yeah, I'm comfortable. Okay, let's move forward. Any questions or comments before we make a motion?
Madam Chair, I move that the contract with OWPR Incorporated for the renovations of A.S. Rhodes Elementary School be approved contingent upon no material changes to the draft contracted by the school board attorney, and the superintendent be authorized to sign the contract.
Second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Approval of Fury Basketball Scholarship. Mr. Fox.
Good evening. The Front Royal Fury is a local travel basketball association.
Good one.
And they have
It's fanfare.
they have a stated mission that they want to help develop leadership, teamwork, and basketball skills. And they have offered 4 scholarships for students at Warren County High School and Skyline High School. $250 for one boy and one girl at Skyline, and $250 scholarship for one boy and one girl at Warren County High School, with some eligibility requirements. The student must have a 3.0 grade point average, must have participated in sports in school, and there is an essay. And I would ask that we approve this scholarship with gratitude from the Front Royal Fury.
Thank you. Madam Chair, I move that the Royal Fury Scholarship be approved and accepted with gratitude.
Second.
All those in favor, aye? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up,
Let me go ahead and,
please.
yeah, the approval of the Northern Shenandoah Valley Master Gardeners Association scholarships.
Thank you. The Northern Shenandoah Valley Master Gardener Association will award 6 $1,000 scholarships to promising 2018 graduating seniors. Eligible students must have attended a high school or a homeschool program in one of the following Virginia counties: Clark, Warren, Shenandoah, Frederick, City of Winchester, or Page, and must have been accepted into an accredited Virginia college, university, or community college. One $1,000 scholarship will be awarded to a student in each of these 6 areas. So they are proposing to give one $1,000 scholarship to a student in Warren County.
Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion. I move that the Northern Shenandoah Valley Master Gardeners Association Scholarship be approved and accepted with gratitude.
Second.
All those in favor, aye? Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
I think it's great that we have community groups and people that offer scholarships to our students, and I hope most of the students take advantage of those. And I like to see that there's an essay involved.
Yes. And I've become involved in, it's interesting, the scholarships that are coming out there from all walks of life in Warren County, private and public, and it's very wonderful.
It's great. There's so much support out there. School Board Office Carpet Project. Mr. Riley.
Good evening.
Good evening.
First of all, thank you all for your very heartfelt comments. It means a lot. Respect by your peers is precious. And so thank you again. You have before you a proposal. We need to change out some flooring for the school board office. It's original to the building when we renovated. The carpet statement in there is kind of arbitrary because we're going to go back with a solid surface tile. And so we're going to try that out in the middle section of the building and see how it performs, and then move it through the rest of the building if everybody likes it. So that's the plan. And we're using the same flooring that we used in the middle school, Brighter Futures renovation, by the way, if y'all have had an opportunity to see that.
What type of flooring is it?
It's
Is it floating,
planks. It's planks.
floating, or?
No, it's glued down. You glue
is
it
it
down. It's
glued? Okay.
permanent. It's a high-end product. It's probably one of the newest and better products that's on the market right now. It has a 20-year lifespan. And I met with the manufacturer yesterday, and he said the product, they warranty it for 20 years. He said, but it can easily go 30 or 40 years before you have to replace it. So it's really durable, and it's a little bit expensive, but it's worth it for the endurance and the appearance of the product and the maintenance.
I was going to say, a lot easier to
Yeah.
maintain.
Our custodial group weighed in on it.
I did not seek their input on that, no. But it will definitely be easier for them to clean. And the school board personnel will be very appreciative of it, I'm sure. And we're trying to do this project, we're going to do the center section of the school board, we're going to try to get it done over spring break, which is a pretty big endeavor. Winter break, I'm sorry. I was thinking spring break, I'm going to miss spring break. When he was talking to counter, I said, dang, I'm going to miss spring break. But be the first one in a long time, but anyway.
Have a long spring break.
I'll have a long spring break, exactly. So I'm sorry, but
The floor's meant for high traffic
Yes.
areas, and we have it in Department of Social Services as well. So there's,
Yeah.
the traffic that goes in and out of Department of Social Services, and it's been there as long as Department of Social Services, and it's wearing well.
yes,
Okay, good, good.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate the support. So if you have any questions, please, I'll be happy to answer them.
Any? I know you had some questions this morning, so
Yeah,
back and
but
forth.
they've
You
all
got them?
kind of been roundabout answered, so.
Okay, okay,
Drescher was
right on it.
bouncing
Okay.
back on it, yes.
Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I make a motion. I move that the project be approved in the not-to-exceed amount of $22,771.70 for carpet replacement for the IRT section of the school board office.
Is there a second? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Rowley.
Thank you so much.
Is there any further business?
No, ma'am.
Meeting adjourned.